and welcome to Tough Cover Podcast, episode 15, Tough Cover Podcast, right here on the with host Mark Henry Jr. Thank you for joining us today. The 16th ever edition of the Tough Cover Podcast, and another very special edition for a very special week. One last time with feeling live on the Painted Lines on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I want you guys to go follow at the Painted Lines on Twitter and subscribe to the Painted Lines on YouTube and Twitch. Set up post notifications on YouTube so you can get a notification when I go live, because we all know that it is not on a consistent time based on when the games start on whatever day I'm talking about. Please go follow me at Mark Henry Jr. _ on Twitter, and please go follow me at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter and Instagram. The Painted Lines is now brought to you and sponsored by XL Media, and here is a deal brought to you by our sponsors.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup in on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover Podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
What an absolute deal. What a steal. What a narration by Dives. Just everybody give it a round of applause. Now, so keep it locked to the Painted Lines, like I said, on Twitter, and keep it locked to my Twitter and at Tough Cover Pod. We'll keep you up to date on any new deals or any new news regarding XL Media or BetRivers or wherever it may be. And I believe there is a link in the description below. So click that and let BetRivers know that TPL sent you. Please leave your picks, bracket thoughts, Final Four, how your bracket's been busted. Leave whatever you'd like in the comments. I'd like to interact with you guys and throw it on the screen and give you my thoughts. After today's game on our next pod, I will go over the Painted Lines Bracket Challenge. I think there's like 40-plus people in there, so that's pretty solid. I'll go over the Painted Lines Bracket Challenge and who's in the lead, who's the absolute worst, whose champions are already knocked out, and who can still win the Painted Lines Bracket Challenge. So we will get to that next time on the next pod after today's results are final, because they do not play the Sweet 16 until this coming weekend. Please go check out me, Dylan Davis, and Matt McGinty talk to Tyrone Johnson from 97.5 on Dylan's podcast, The Daily Dose, on Thursday at 7:30. I'm excited. I'm absolutely pumped to be a part of that. Thank you to Dylan for setting that up. Dylan's the man. Go check out his podcast on The Daily Dose on the Painted Lines right here on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Before we get to my picks for the day, let's do a quick fit check. Rocking with Daniel Bryan, because there is indeed a WWE pay-per-view tonight amongst the million games I'm going to have to be watching. It's called Fastlane, because we are on the road to WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan, who's a babyface, a good guy for the casual wrestling fans, is facing Roman Reigns, the champion, who's a heel or a bad guy to the casual wrestling fans. So those are two of the best workers in the business, two of the best professional wrestlers alive today. So I can't wait to watch them tonight. But anyway, that's not what you guys are here to listen to. But, yes. We're going to talk about college basketball. We're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about the Sixers. We're most importantly going to talk about my picks today. But first, let's talk about the Sixers. I'm rocking with AI and Joel Embiid, two of the best Sixers of my lifetime. So had to throw it up there after phenomenal Sixers win last night. Good morning to Dives. What an awesome Sixers win last night. It was unbelievable. I can't believe we were able to accomplish that with three of our best players out. But I think it just goes to show what kind of attitude this team has this year and what kind of attitude the Sacramento Kings have this year, which is the exact opposite and not a very good one for a team to have. I'm still surprised we haven't seen that Luke Walton getting fired Woj or Shams tweet yet, but I'm still waiting on bated breath because it should absolutely happen any day now. So, but yeah, Sixers, fantastic. We're going to talk about them in a little bit because they do have a game today against the Knicks at 8 o'clock, which is a pick-em right now. So it's very interesting. I do have a pick in the game. So let's start it off 6-10. We're going to start it off with one of my favorite teams in the country and one of my favorite bets of the day. Arkansas money line plus 110 versus Texas Tech for 1.5 units. I have a Sweet 16 future on Arkansas to make the Sweet 16. So this is basic. I didn't take Arkansas money line. I put 1.5 units before the tournament on Arkansas to make the Sweet 16. They're now in the second round. This is basically a money line situation. So money line plus 110 for 1.5 units. I can't believe Texas Tech's favored here. I think Arkansas is the better team. And if I didn't have my Sweet 16 future and a bracket with Arkansas as champion, I would be going in even harder on Arkansas. But I'm already so invested. So I don't even feel the need to. Arkansas gave me and all of us a scare against Colgate in the first half. After a 15-2 run by Colgate, Arkansas answered with a 19-0 run that stretched across the second half. A 15-2 scoring run late in the game pulled Arkansas away and had Arkansas moving on to the second round. I'm almost glad they looked as bad as they did just so I could see them validate my Arkansas thoughts by looking like the best team in the world for a couple stretches. The two stretches I mentioned above, they looked absolutely unbeatable. Moody, Smith, Davis, and Tate all just attacked the rim relentlessly for Arkansas, and that ended up wearing down Colgate. It could be big trouble for a Texas Tech team that is 277th in defensive free throw rate. They are fouling way too often, and that is not good against an Arkansas team that attacks the rim and gets to the foul line. If there's an advantage against either unit besides that, it's also on Arkansas' side, and it's offensive rebounding. The Red Raiders are outside the top 250 on the defensive glass, and Arkansas is an excellent offensive rebounding team. Not as great on the defensive side, but they really go try to attack the rim to get themselves some more points on the offensive side, and that could be a major problem for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. On the other hand, I think Texas Tech's getting a lot of credit for handling an offensively inept Utah State team who didn't belong in the tournament, in my opinion. Texas Tech forced 22 turnovers from Utah State. I do not expect the Razorbacks to do the same. So Arkansas moves on. Woo! Pig Suey. Arkansas to the second weekend and the Sweet 16 for the first time since March of 1996, which is before I was born. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got Rutgers plus 8.5 versus the Houston Cougars for 1.5 units. With an upset of Houston on Sunday, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights would be the first Rutgers men's basketball team to reach the Sweet 16 in 42 years. So they got a lot on the line for Rutgers University tonight. This is going to be a defensive battle, and just like Ohio, Virginia love taking a sizable underdog against good teams that can't score. I like Rutgers to win and cover here ugly. I think this is going to be an absolute rock fight, and I'll take the New Brunswick Killers, the Gangsters of Piscataway, the Tony Sopranos Scarlet Knights. How you doing? Rutgers over Houston on to the next round. So 7:45, we're getting to my best bet, my lock of the night, my play of the day. Won it yesterday after a tough start for LSU, but we ended up hitting the best bet to bring us to 9-6 so far on best bets. So I'm going at 7:40 first half under 69.5 Florida Oral Roberts for 3 units. I can see myself plunking even more units down on this. I absolutely love it. Oral Roberts games have went under this total in 3 of the last 4 first halves. Florida's games have went under this total in its last 5 first halves. Florida has been the most profitable team on the under as a favorite in Power 5 conferences. So these are teams that are very good on the under in the first half, it seems. Not as much Oral Roberts over a whole year basis, but as a recency bias basis, they have been better at first half unders as of late, and Florida has been a first half unders dream over the last couple of weeks, especially. Even in Oral Roberts' high-scoring game against run-and-gun, high-octane Ohio State, It finished at 69 in the first half. So I can't see how this is going above that Ohio State Oral Roberts total. I expect Florida to control the tempo and to slow Oral Roberts down to their pace and dictate the game. The Gators allow only 30.5% from three-point range, which is the 29th best mark in the nation. The Florida is defending the perimeter on an absolutely electric basis. They really forced Virginia Tech to struggle from beyond the arc until the end of the game. So 35-35 or even 40-30 just feels so incredibly high scoring, in my opinion, in this game. So in the first half, I guess. So I went first half instead of game to avoid late game situations like fouling. I absolutely love this bet. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm surprised it hasn't went down yet. First half under 69.5, Florida or Auburn units. 8 o'clock. The Philadelphia 76ers, and I'm taking their money line at the New York Knicks for 1.5 units. The Knicks had their chance to steal a win at the Sixers earlier this week. We stole the win from them. I pick against the Sixers after last night's performance. It's just absolutely impressive to the highest degree of how they were able to come out and take care of the Knicks and put them away in the first quarter. And I think it'll be a much tougher game today against the Knicks, who gave us a tough game earlier this week, obviously. But I do think there's something to the fact that we stole a game from the Knicks, and the Knicks should have won that game. So I think we're still the better team even without those guys, and I think we take care of business and win a close one against New York in Madison Square Garden. It also helps that we should have coast last night's game. Hopefully the main guys didn't really exert themselves too much after we got up so huge so early. So what game, and I'm absolutely happy we're able to get an easy win. They should come out rested, and we need this win before a nightmare West Coast road trip. This win would be absolutely huge for the race for the 1 seed that many wrote off when Joel Embiid got hurt. We win this game, we're feeling great going into a tough West Coast road trip that's not quite as tough because Steph Curry isn't playing for the Warriors. LeBron James and Anthony Davis aren't playing for the Lakers. So makes it quite interesting what's going to be able to happen on this West Coast road trip that would usually be a death road trip. So getting to my last straight bet of the night, at 9:40, I have Oklahoma State money line plus 110 versus Oregon State for 1.5 units. Not much to say here. This is another Sweet 16 future from pre-tournament. So I do like what Oregon State's been able to do, but Oklahoma State, I expected them to face Tennessee here when I made this bet, and I just feel better about the fact that they're coming in as a -6 point favorite. And I think if Vegas knew that Oregon State was going to beat Tennessee, I don't think Oklahoma State would have been plus 110 to get to the final or to get to the Sweet 16. I think Tennessee would have given them a tougher matchup. Oregon State has been so reliant over the last week or so on shooting the three, which is weird because they haven't been good on it all year. Oregon State should come back down to earth from three-point range. They're shooting way above their heads ever since the Pac-12 tourney, and the reason that they're going to come down to earth in this game is because Oklahoma State is one of the best teams in the country at defending three. They're incredibly switchable and versatile. Even my dad, who's not a college basketball guy, who was watching the Oklahoma State game, he was shocked by how good Oklahoma State was at running Liberty off three-point line. So I think that Oklahoma State will be able to contain Oregon State from the outside. Let's get to a couple comments here. Joey Slog says Wisconsin over Baylor is my upset of the day. So before we get to my next comment, I want to leave this up. My money line parlay number one for 1.5 units is Baylor Villanova money line -110 parlay. This is a parlay of two teams go on to face each other in the next round. I'm buying on Villanova. I'm starting to have elite dreams for Villanova, but this is really a fade of two teams who won in the first round and played way above offensively, and in my opinion, are not very good basketball teams. So I'm more than happy to bet against Wisconsin and North Texas. They're not good enough to go to the second weekend, and if they did, it would be a shame because they'll just get demolished by whoever they play. So for everyone's sake, I will be rooting for a Baylor Nova face-off in the Sweet 16 that I think Nova would have a chance in. But I just don't think Wisconsin will shoot the way that they did from three last game. I think UNC really came out so flat and so unimpressive and didn't rebound the ball, which was the key to the game. And I wasn't impressed with Wisconsin beating UNC. I think that they played a good game, and I don't think it'll continue going forward. But I've also hated on them all year, so I could be wrong. And then North Texas, I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. They didn't even play well against Purdue. It's like Abilene Christian in Texas. Neither of these teams played well, so no faith in them going forward. I think UCLA handles Abilene tomorrow. I think Baylor handles Wisconsin. I think Villanova handles North Texas. These teams are outlier performances, and I don't think that they advance to the Sweet 16. So Baylor, Villanova, moneyline parlay at -110. The source 69. He says thoughts on Tech versus the Hogs. That's how I led the show off. I have an Arkansas Sweet 16 future. I basically have Arkansas moneyline +110, and I feel absolutely great about it because let me pull up the stat for you for the source 69. Arkansas has been a very, very good team at getting to the rim and at getting to the foul line, and Texas Tech is 277th in defensive free throw rate. And then also the Red Raiders are outside the top 250 on the defensive glass, and Arkansas has been absolutely excellent on the offensive glass. So I think Arkansas will absolutely take care of business against Texas Tech. He's an Arkansas grad. Woo, Pig Suey. Let's go the source. I'm rooting big time for Arkansas. I have them as a champion in one of my brackets, and I also have the Sweet 16 future. So I really, 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 that's probably my biggest game of the day outside of the first half under for Florida or Rock. That's my bet. But Arkansas is probably the most important game for me, or in terms of the sides, the most important winner. I definitely really need an Arkansas win. I want to get a stat up real quick for my next bet here because I know that it was an impressive stat that had me really. It's something that you would figure, but I was impressed by it. So let's get to my next parlay. Moneyline parlay number 2: West Virginia, Florida. Par 108. I'm not going to get in too much to the West Virginia game. I just think Syracuse played outside of their heads, and I think Buddy Boeheim, he dropped like 40. I don't think he does it again. I think West Virginia takes care of Syracuse, and I think they can score with Syracuse more than San Diego State could. I didn't San Diego State's lack of offense enough in that matchup, but I didn't bet the game anyway, so no skin off my back. But West Virginia over Syracuse, I like them to win that matchup. But then Florida, Oral Roberts. So if West Virginia wins, you have Florida money line at +110 at 7.5 against Oral Roberts as a 9-point favorite. And I just don't see a way that Oral Roberts advances in this game. Florida is just a way better team, and I thought that they way outplayed Virginia Tech yesterday. So I think Florida is absolutely the right pick here. And the stat from the Bear on College Game Day on ESPN, since 2014, there have been 9, 13, 14, and 15 seeds who have won its round of 64 game. Those 9 are 0-9 straight up and 0-8-1 against the spread. 7 were decided by at least 13 points. Only 1 was decided by less than 8 points. So most of the time, that's their Super Bowl. These lower seeds come out incredibly fired up and playing defense and playing like their hair's on fire. But I just don't see how Oral Roberts continues the momentum and takes down Florida. So let's cover my picks here real quick before we get out of here. The 2 parlays. Moneyline parlay number 1, Baylor and Nova at -110 for 1.5 units. Moneyline parlay number 2, West Virginia and Florida at 515 and 745 for +108 for 2 units. By the way, that Baylor-Villanova parlay, Baylor's at 240, Villanova is at 845. And moving on to Arkansas, moneyline +110 for 1.5 units versus Texas Tech. Rutgers +8.5 versus Houston for 1.5 units. First half under 69.5 for 3 units in Oral Roberts, Florida. Philadelphia 76ers money line at the New York Knicks for 1.5 units, and Oklahoma State pick'em in a money line Sweet 16 future for 1.5 units at +110. So thank you for joining us, folks. Hope you guys have enjoyed the first 3 days of March Madness. Hope you guys have enjoyed my regional breakdowns, my Selection Sunday watch party, my first 3 days of the tournament, my picks in the morning. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for being a part of the Tough Cover Click. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and then I'll finally be able to chill out and not have to go live at 10 a.m. or 8 a.m. for you guys to get you the picks. Maybe we can go back to 5 p.m. because the NBA will really be all we're taking care of. But keep in tune this week on at Tough Cover Podcast. Follow them on Twitter and Instagram at Tough Cover Pod. Me, not them. Follow me at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter and Instagram because this coming week I will be having my good friend Alex Carr MLB at Alex Carr MLB He writes for The Good Fight. He's an MLB. We'll be doing a Phillies preview and a baseball season preview from a gambling perspective all this week on the Tough Cover podcast after the NCAA tournament is over, probably starting on Tuesday. I will be getting to baseball and really breaking down where you can find money. Last year, I made some serious units and money with baseball futures, and I gave it out on the Tough Cover podcast with Pat Moran last year, who's another guy, a friend of mine who some of you follow on Twitter, a great Twitter fellow, at Pat Moran3. He is a really knowledgeable baseball guy, really knowledgeable at all sports, but baseball, he's on the prospect wave before all these guys. So he's very knowledgeable and very good at getting you guys some value. So I think I'm going to have him on this week as well. But we will definitely be having Alex Carr at Alex Carr MLB on to talk some Phillies, which I'm really excited about. So check that out. Again, check Tyrone Johnson out on Dylan Davis's The Daily Dose podcast Thursday at 7:30. So please join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. for the Tough Cover podcast when I go through my picks for the Monday slate for the rest of the round of 32 games that are not today. Please follow at The Painted Lines on Twitter and subscribe to The Painted Lines on YouTube and Twitch. Please follow me, last but not least, at Mark Henry Jr. _ And before we get out of here, I'm going to show anyone who may be joining late the new BetRivers promo from XL Media, our sponsor.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup in on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
Go check that out, guys. Everyone, thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click, and we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy the brackets.